people say, yeah, Chris, well, what's my return on investment? I don't know. What's your return on regret if you don't do something? Number one. And number two, they print money, they don't print time.
See what he says right there? That's the shift that we all need to make.
You're listening to DisasterClass podcast by Instinct Ready Emergency Management. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to DisasterClass, the podcast that's dedicated to helping you educate, prepare, and equip yourself for life's disruptions. I'm Jason Perez, and with me today is Wesley Long.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah. So, as previously mentioned, this is part 2 of our extremely powerful conversation that we've been having with Chris Grollnek.
Yeah, in this episode, we move from understanding the threat about active shooters to doing something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chris starts to share with us some more of this philosophy, right? What real prevention looks like. It's beyond run, hide, fight, which many of us have known, have taken, maybe even taught, but why leadership, culture, and training matter more than a fear-based response.
And if you've ever wondered what it really means to be ready, and especially in a situation like this episode will give you the roadmap to get there.
Yes, sir.
So let's get back to organizations and a mindset shift, right? We talked about not being able to, not fostering fear, but when we talk to like corporate leadership, large organizations, where do you see a disconnect between administrators and what they think they're prepared for and what real world readiness actually looks like?
Wow. I was on a webinar about, I've been on several, but let's just say 7 years ago. And so that was about 2018, 2019, 2018. And it was with, I can't say who because of some NDAs, but let's just say it's 10 of the Fortune 100 company CEOs. Their executives, their chiefs of staff. So you're talking about, 10 multiplies quickly when they start having 2 and 3 staff members. So it was like 250 people. Very private session though, and they all flew in to meet me, and it was a good deal. I would say out of the 250 people, 25 took it serious and said, we're going to do something. And the other 225 said, there's no reason for this. We have security on site. There's no reason for this. It'll never happen here. There's no reason for this. Fill in the blank. You ready? We know 911.
Ah,
So,
that's it.
and then you get something called actuators, right? Or actuaries. And it's when an accountant goes, they're called beam counters. And they do this formula of an actuary table of if we lose 8 people in an active shooter, it's going to cost us this over the next 20 years. If we train the 39,000 people that we employ, it's going to cost this much over 3 years. Let's not train them. We're to save money.
Yeah.
When you start looking at things like that and you take that deep breath and say, who does that? Sure, you know what I'm going to say, but like, I got no filter, so beware.
Yeah.
You've been warned, but we're talking about shooting people. So if I let the word slip once, it's going to be okay. Nobody's shooting at us.
It is a tough topic. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to know how to address that, how to get corporate buy-in, how to actually answer those questions. And yes, I have some answers for that. No, I'm not going to share them because you'll think not you, but some people in the audience might misconstrue and say, but Chris said, and then
Right.
I can't be on the hook. So I'll give you some guidance though.
Appreciate
Just
that.
show them the facts, show them the
Mhm.
numbers, and then ask them to go back to their company or ask them to take you back. And if you really want to get in business for yourself, have some investment money behind you and volunteer to go to their business with them. Say, let me talk to 5 of your employees. You pick the 5 with you and ask them 5 core questions. 5 people, 5 questions, right? 25 tasks. And you say, 1, what do you do if this happens? And when you get a different answer with number 1 and number 2, 3, 4, and 5, you don't need 25 more tasks. You just replicated it in the question number 1 and you're over. And then they'll say, okay, what kind of program can you put together?
Mm.
That's legitimately the best way to go about it.
Wow.
Wes, have you ever wished you could run an emergency operations center without the actual emergency?
Oh, so you mean chaos, caffeine, and teamwork, but fun.
Exactly. EM Disaster Gaming's Wildfire Mayhem is where it's at.
Yeah, you take roles like fire, police, and medical while the wildfire spreads and everything goes silent.
Yeah, it's strategy, coordination, and a little bit of mild panic all in one box.
Yeah, it's so realistic you're going to want to file an after-action report for sure.
Go to emdisastergaming.com and use promo code DisasterClass for 15% off.
Because sometimes the best way to manage chaos is to play it. Jason, what's the most important thing in an emergency?
Coffee?
Close. Clean water, sir.
Yes, and that's why we trust Sawyer water filters. They're tiny, tough, and they remove 99.9999% of bacteria.
Plus, one filter can filter out over 100,000 gallons of water. So that's even apocalypse level clean.
And it's used by hikers, responders, and people tired of boiling puddle water.
So whether it's camping or a blackout, Sawyer's got you covered.
Find yours at Sawyer.com or find a retailer near you.
Sawyer, because boiling puddle water, not a skill worth bragging about.
So maybe transitioning a little bit, because you mentioned your that framework, that prevention response options. Can you talk a little bit about that model, how it came to be, how you shaped it, where if you could talk a little bit about that.
So yeah, that could be a 12-hour dissertation.
I know.
Right there. All right.
Good.
So it's called the PRO model, right? And if I'll tell you how truly moved I am by this thing. Like I told you, go to Google and find me for 32 pages, right? Just by my name.
I tried it, and it's true.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I tell everybody I don't do any search engine optimization. We don't. I mean, we have a website, yeah, we have some other stuff, yes, but you can't fake other things. So go to ChatGTP or Copilot or Ask AI, Deep Learn, Watson, that doesn't matter, and type in, who's the founder of the active shooter model prevention, and my name comes out with the PRO model. So I've never used AI because you can't teach it. AI knows what it knows before, right? And it doesn't just surf the web. It has a whole bunch of metrics that it uses. And your thing, Wesley, that you told me about your patent attorney, the only thing in my head was like, can you imagine a patent attorney telling somebody from like Sam Altman, yeah, that's already been invented. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
So anyways, you have hope and stick it out as for all the entrepreneurs out there. I mean, I drop these kernels of, wisdom here and there, and believe me, they're few and far between. I'm not that smart, but I do know the stick to itness. That's what you have to have. Just stick it out.
Yep.
If my favorite saying is, if you knew you're going to fail on the 26th time, how fast did you fail the first 25?
Yeah, let's get through it.
Or you're going to win on the 26th time. How many times
Right.
did you fail?
Let's get through the 25. Yeah.
Wrong, but yeah, man, it just, there's so much there. So the PRO model was like that, right, Jason? So, not until about 2018, and this is a true story. It sounds funny, but I think everybody knows the story because I've not only said it so many times, I mean, people were there with me when it happened. Up until 2015, we used to think that prevention meant faster cars, brighter lights, and getting there quicker. More training for EMTs, saving lives. Yeah, we're going to lose some, but boy, we got to do a good job. And in 2015, I went to a shooting. I can't say which one, but I've responded to many, and did an after-action report. Unfortunately, there were still dead people there in real time.
Mhm.
And I realized this isn't good enough. How do you tell the parents or people like, hey, we did the best we could, and I remember I was pissed. You talk about a long time, 2016, 17, 18, 3 years went by figuring this out. And I went to some friends at the hostage rescue team at the FBI, and I'm like, hey, look at this. Do I have this great new plan? It's called PRO. And where'd you get PRO? You wouldn't believe it. Well, where'd you get it? Well, I woke up in the morning and I realized, hey, we don't have prevention. we can get some options together. And we already do response. I'm like, oh, wow, I am that dumb. PRO. I spelled it wrong. Right. So spelled it right. And true story. And came up with the PRO model, prevention, response, and options, and made it a continuum. And that continuum is you can start anywhere and pick it up. Well, that's a lot of shootings between 15 and 18. And you can search some Chris Grollnek media to find that out, because I was on every network almost once a week talking about something new. And we had a real big uprise in shootings during that time. Nothing like we saw in 2021. But it was significantly higher than normal. So I found a way to talk to people. And all of a sudden, here we are, fast forward last year, or was it this year? There's so many, the Georgia school shooting, I think it was this year. And I was on Nancy Grace talking about it because I know her producer, I know her, and very nice people. And I said, yeah, I'll do the show for you, which I don't do a lot of shows. It's only depends if I have really something that I want to say. And I told him I don't think I'm going to get on it. I'm listening to the news in the background, and the police were talking about what an exceptional job they did at that high school. Only 2 people died and only 2 people got shot. I'm like, that's, how fast did that take you? We got there in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It was exceptional. Like, tell that to the 2 dead people's families, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I'm hitting you in the feels with that, because
Yeah.
it does to me every time I tell that story. There's no good way around this. You have to know, yeah, we're going to lose people, but the best way that we can memorialize them, honor them, celebrate their life, is to give them a solution. And the solution is not just my model, it's something like it, though. A prevention first model. We shouldn't have to worry about when the shots go off. Let's worry about spending money and investing before the shots go off, and what that looks like. And it's not just about run, hide, fight.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we focus on emergency management here. It's the same thing, right? When it comes to any hazard, right? Not just a shooting or violence, prevention is always the first step. If you can prevent the bad thing from happening, and then all the other stuff to reduce the impacts if it does happen, that comes secondary.
Mm-hmm.
But the prevention is always the first.
Could you imagine going on a box somewhere, or for your listeners that aren't, like, if you're on an ambulance and you show up somewhere and you pop out, pull out your handy dandy backpack that just got rained on,
Yeah.
and it was underneath a gutter and fecal matter got in it, and all your sterile bandages now are, contaminated. And you're like, don't worry, I'm gonna stop the bleed. I gotta, guess which one's right. And then you save the guy's life and he dies from dysentery the next day, or from MRSA a year later. You're like, hey, we did pretty good getting there, didn't we? We stopped the bleed. Like,
Right.
you can't pick your poison.
Right.
You have to own what you own and control what you can control. And that is the best analogy for firefighters that I can tell you, or first responders, emergency personnel, EMTs, even security. Carry the damn tourniquet, but make sure it works, and make sure you replace it every so often. Buy a good blood control kit, bleed control kit. Find out what Stop the Bleeding's really about. Find out how it came out of Hartford and why.
Right.
And you'll see. So, and I won't talk about Sandy Hook, so we're not even go there. But
Thank
find
you,
out
because that
why.
was close to us. Because I live in Connecticut,
Yeah.
so and I never talk about this publicly, but you just mentioned it. So I
Yeah.
worked for a private ambulance service in Danbury at the time of Sandy Hook, and I was a dispatcher at the time. I wasn't working; it was on a Friday, but the people that I relieved were working, because we provide backup for the town of Newtown. So there were uh, 3 transports from that. 2 of them were done by paramedics that I work with from our company.
Nope.
So
No, I quit my job. I mean, hats off to you, man. There's
Yeah.
people, if I was on duty, I can't say that. I mean, I've
Right.
responded to a lot of bad things, but I'll tell you right now, man, you're a good person. People like that. I mean, I tell everybody better than me, because I don't know what I would do. I mean, I do anything for kids or, anybody, but you'll appreciate this as a dispatcher. I used to dispatch and send out a call, assault, family violence in progress, males beating his wife. I'm like 4 miles away. There's 2 units closer. Get them there. It's not because I didn't want to go get in a fight. It's because I knew what would happen if I got there.
Yeah.
And
It's not gonna be
no
no
women,
friend
no
about it.
children type thing. But at the same time,
Agreed.
people, that's a pretty coy thing. But at the same time, I see enough bad things in my life. I don't need to add to that anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we need people to do it. And don't get me wrong, I celebrate them. And because
Mm-hmm.
if you can do that, that's like, I don't do autopsies for a living because I don't like, dead people anymore.
Yeah.
I worked homicide enough. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Say, when I was doing my EMT rotation, the first autopsy I saw, whew, That is
Oh
something
yeah,
else.
they're brutal. I worked homicide, been to a couple, don't need to go back to anymore.
Yeah, same.
Mhm.
I'm good.
And I
Check the
say a
box.
couple, I mean it's a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Check
Yep.
the box.
Same here. Same here.
I've seen
Yeah.
that. Yep. Okay, let's shift now. Because some other things we want to talk about. So we talk about bleeding control kits as a concept of something that schools can do. Two other things I want to talk to you about and get your thoughts on. So I'll preempt it by giving you both and give you time to think about it. One, reliable communications during an event for school personnel. Um, the concept then maybe of interoperability when EMS or first responders, police show up, and then another concept, shot detection sensors, the value, the viability. Would it be valuable from a tactical standpoint if responding units maybe even had access to that shot detection location? If it is a placement in a grid, would that affect and help tactical decisions in the field? So those are some of the things that it would just be interesting to get some thoughts on, because again, we can't solve every piece of it. But like you said, prevention, you know, is where we want to live. But if we haven't done the work in prevention, there are some tools and there are some technologies right now that can assist us in real time. And that's the next best thing to prevention, right? We couldn't stop the thing, but now it's here. How can we do it? And how can schools realize that they are part of the emergency response system, especially until first responders get there? And then what does that handoff look like from a school to the first responders? What information can be given that would be valuable to them that could guide tactical response in real time? You know,
Okay, so it's absurd that we have to parse this, but we have to. You say detection sensors. Where do you think that sensor technology would live inside a school? On the internet or on an IT or an IS platform,
cloud.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Technology or information system. The people and the architects, the solution architects to that, or even the IT manager or IS manager or whomever, you got to get through their gate now.
Right.
You made it through the security gate, you made it through the superintendent, you made it through the teachers, you made it through wherever, but now you want to put something on their system. And they're like, yeah, no, thank you. So, okay, well, genius, remind me again where your fire sprinkler system goes through. Oh, it's online. Tell me what the difference is, right? Because now
Right.
we're preventing the same thing. We built a prevention model. Let's go back to the prevention model versus response and why we came up with it. Because it's been 72 years since we killed a child in school fire, K through 12.
Right.
Why is that? We got tired of killing kids in school fire 72 years ago. Prevention first, right?
Right.
And now, yes, schools still burn, bad things still happen, but kids aren't dying in fires. Yet we're still shooting at each other in schools. Isn't it time we pay attention to that?
Right.
Our thing is, Wesley, we do think that we can stop them in wholesale, right? Period. There's about 17 things that you can do to make an active shooter proof school, mall, any environment. And it'd be very similar to fireproof. They're not going to not happen, but you're going to be more resistant to them. And while evil still exists and people will still pull out guns and surprise others by killing them, you can control mass casualty events like music festivals, secure malls, secure hospitals, healthcare. I mean, there's a reason we've had so many active shooters in healthcare. People are just pissed off.
Yeah.
So, how do you do that? You start with a basic assessment. Know where you're at, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. You don't go on a road trip without a map or a plan, right? Know how you're going to get there. Then know what you want to buy. Don't buy a good idea, buy something that works. Behavioral management software, understanding the people that visit, what type of red flags exist. Are there things that you can listen to social media, etc.? And there are. And you think this is too big brother. I got bad news for you. Go order a Big Mac at McDonald's. I know I told you not to earlier, but
Yeah.
now I'm telling you, go. Your picture's on camera.
Correct.
Because
That's
I mean
recorded.
your face is on camera and now it's snapshot because the registers have cameras in a lot of them.
Yep.
And most restaurants now. So that said, now you want gun detection. Gun detection breaks down into three different kinds, right? You have object recognition,
Mm-hmm.
neural network, and agentics, right? Agentic AI just means you have agents working to search the internet for things. Cool story, but it's a little bit slow when it comes to finding what a weapon looks like. And object recognition is only good garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't have the right picture in and somebody has a weapon that doesn't exist, there's nothing there. A neural network can actually interpret what a weapon is, what it looks like, what it thinks it is. So it now knows that not only is this a cup, but if I take the lid off and I hold my hand under it, this could be used as a drinking vessel. But you see, if it was object recognition, it would need to know what a drinking vessel is, so I can record it that this could be used. Neural networks can interpret that like a 5-year-old mind, a child's 5-year-old brain with a perfect memory. So now you have gun detection, knife detection, things like that. And that's why the U.S. Army is using it right now at Bluegrass Army Depot, developing the first state-of-the-art prevention, response, and options model, this guy's model.
Nice.
And there's a person named Chris Willoughby that's so forward thinking. He built a sandbox, a virtual sandbox, but also a physical sandbox that you could walk in and watch all these things happen. So now we have alarms, access control, behavioral modification, management, safety of, hey, this person's demonstrating some red flags. Let's move them out of class. Hey, maybe we should search your backpack. You definitely need detection. So like metal detectors, right? Garrett, who better? The very first one to ever be used at an Olympics, Garrett.
Right.
Like, okay, go there.
Yeah.
And now you have gun detection before they get to the metal detector and after. You also need a plan. What do you do at the metal detector when you find a gun?
Right.
What do you do when the Tennessee shooters in the parking lot walking around for 2 minutes and 46 seconds with 2 ARs and a pistol? You have a camera system and it's showing you gun detection. Up, you have a hit. Might be a good time to lock the doors and do a lockdown, right?
Right.
But instead, we just have a lot of money in cameras without any analytics involved.
Right.
Right.
So now we have those 5 or 6 things. Now, part you move into, if something goes wrong, you have the appropriate training to know what to do during that time. You have bleed control. You have communications, which, if you don't mind, please bring me back to that, Jason, in a minute, because I will forget about same level communications. And, we have a nexus problem. And then now we go into gunshot detection. Gun goes off, pow, shooter's in this zone traveling that direction at this speed. It's the accuracy is 100%.
Right.
There are so many different gunshot detection companies out there. There's really only a couple that do great work. And I would look at Data Buoy right now to be probably the number one, right? And I have unfortunately, a lot of experience in this, but it's not just because they're cool people, because they're great. They're from DARPA. And you know that DARPA invents everything that we do anyways, right? From the military perspective. So then you go to the cleanup, you postmortems, reunification centers, training for reunification center. Don't just set up a reunification center and say, hey, all families go in here and get notified and we have a chaplain, we're good. I'm not going to tell you which shooting, but that happened. And a parent went in and found out that their child lived, and they're like, oh my God, thank God. And the next parent came in and said, your child died. You need to split those things up and understand why you're splitting them up. Have different entrances, different exits, different chaplains, different religious people, different sets of commanders, media training. I mean, so when you boil this down, you have 17 things. You put all those things in place, you hopefully never need them, because you're never going to have another shooting, because now people know, hey, this is impossible. And then we're going to go on and solve another problem, which is cool. But until we get involved in this happens to help with an all hazards approach. If an arsonist shows up with a firebomb or an improvised explosive device, that neural network has, hey, you know what? Someone's throwing a Molotov cocktail, and now might be a good time to leave before the smoke alarm goes. So we have a
Right.
smoke alarm, we have gun detection. You have a sprinkler, you have gunshot detection. They're the same basic principles. And then I think we were talking about, radio communication.
Yeah.
Look no further than like Parkland, right? The radios didn't work inside. The cops didn't know where anybody was. They thought the shooter was still in the building. They were looking at a historic archive of a video 45 minutes earlier. I mean, if it could have gone wrong, it did. And those are some things you need to consider.
Yeah. Whew, what a great rundown. We're gonna have to break that down and slow it down for some of our folks. That was amazing.
Well, can I? Yeah, I told you I'm not selling anything. That's true. There's one thing though. So I'd appreciate it if you don't just download it and throw it up on your website, but instead provide a link if you don't mind.
Sure.
But we have a white paper, and the reason we need people to put their name on it and their email, it's not like the kids guide that you can talk for free, because those are just random ideas, or the pitch deck that we have. It's all about ASPP. All that's under resources. It's all free. Slicks, one sheets, you name it, it's there. Healthcare, critical incident recovery, survival, everything. But we have a white paper on the active shooter prevention project highlighting what the pro model is, prevention, response, and options. And I'm going to tell you right now, go on there and have your viewers download it. You would download it for sure, but
Mhm.
you have to put your information in to download it. But it's because it's a legal thing for me. We need a clear line of separation that you didn't just download the paper and say, hey, look what we got, a trademark thing.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
So it's like a permission slip almost, but it's a guide, and that guide is all outlined in there, what I just said.
Wow.
So this isn't something, like if I gave you $10,
Thank you.
you might go spend it just because you want to, right? Go
Mhm.
buy Starbucks. But if you had to go earn $10 digging a ditch, you
Mhm.
probably wouldn't buy Starbucks.
Right.
Same thing with information. When it's
Mhm.
free, anybody can have it. When you
Mhm.
have to work to get it, you'll pay more attention. That's a little bit of the philosophy. Unfortunately, it has to do with legal problems too, but
Yeah.
now
No,
you
I
know.
get it. I get
Yeah.
it. Thank you for that. Okay. One last question, because this doesn't, I don't think, well, not necessarily last, but one question that I think is valuable for us to discuss when, especially as emergency managers, we're often talking about training and exercises, tabletops, full scale, all these different types of things that schools can run. How valuable do you think it is for schools to get other stakeholders at the table, i.e., the actual response teams that will be responding to their location, getting them in your building, getting them to gain familiarity with that, be an active player in those scenarios that are being created, so that again, when the real thing happens, we've already got the muscle memory built with these people.
All stakeholders are important. They just are, right? You can't leave one person out. But let me tell you a couple things. I'm going to mention two more things that are part of the active shooter prevention project core. One that you wouldn't even believe. The library system that we've built, and I don't mean like go find research, I mean for public libraries, because a lot of shootings happen at public libraries. And emergency action plans for the same are really transferable to all healthcare. So they're unique, right? Not because they're quiet, just the clientele, just it is what it is. So by research, we built these things out. So I would say our library planning and training program that we have is probably one of the best gems in our arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And then part two is, you said tabletops. So we have a virtual tabletop person called Crisis Response Leader Training.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, well, you don't want virtual. Well, if you do a scenario based tabletop, it doesn't matter if you're in person or virtual,
Right,
anyways,
right, right.
you're getting the same training.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But talk to all the commanders out there and the budget keepers and all those people that read actuaries and predict futures. If you get a department, let's say your ambulance service, how big was your ambulance service? 30 riders, 30 drivers,
Yeah, one
50?
of them. Mm-hmm. We're a little bit
Okay,
larger now, but yep. Mm-hmm.
let's call it 50. Let's use a small municipality,
Okay.
100 police officers, and they neighbor another city that has 3,000 police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're in Dallas and Richardson right next door.
Right.
You want to bring everybody together, but you need to pay everybody overtime because you need people to work the shift still.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have like 40 people involved in a mass training exercise, 40 on overtime. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to take 12 hours. It's going to take tabletop masters about 3 weeks to plan it. That's
Mm-hmm.
not their normal job. They're doing their other job. That's more overtime. Now you need the equipment, the gasoline, the people out of service, the things that could go wrong. And then you need the location. Then
Yep.
you need the teachers, the staff. You need some paramedics on site. You need some firefighters. Then you need emergency managers, some aggregators, you need some observers. I mean, you need everybody. By the time it's over, the last tabletop we just cross-referenced was like $17 million. That took it's because, and this is a giant port though. So let's use a city. I think it was 1.7 million for a giant one, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a one in the seven, so it's 1.3 and 17 million. That's what it was. And the port one was massive. And we showed that we could do either one of those to scale for just the price of the simulator.
Right.
Now imagine that we've now leverage technology, brought it down to a place where you can use it, and everybody's across the board saying, heck yeah, let's go.
Right.
And they walk away with just the same amount of information as if you were there telling them, all right, team B, something went wrong. And you've also reduced the risk. Now, you do need training. You do need role-playing
Mm-hmm.
training. but not, let's go back to your very first question, Wesley, not for kids. Do you really
Right.
think it's important to light a person on fire to tell them it's hot?
Oh,
No. So why would you put them through active shooter training with blanks? That's ridiculous.
oh yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Start small and
Mhm.
reasonable. And the people that want to be involved in that will go pursue the military and the police. The
Yeah.
people that don't will go pursue something else. I mean, it's literally that simple.
Yep.
We talked about a lot. Is there anything
Yeah.
else we missed that you
Anything you
wanted
want to
to
highlight?
call out, or?
I want to call out, you guys are awesome. I appreciate the energy and enthusiasm. I'm really rooting for you guys from here. Um, the Active Shooter Prevention Project is made up of 26 companies and 140 people. In fact, we might be more than that now. I wish I knew. I'm now the chairman. I moved out of the main seat, but I'm going to tell you right now, decisions still, live and die at my desk. So that's the way it goes. But if we could talk about one more thing,
Yeah.
and that's something that we don't have, we're adding it to our pro model this year, but it's mapping, indoor
Mm.
mapping.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, if you want location experience, you show up on a box, and I say box, an ambulance, and you're the driver and the rescue in back and the paramedic in the front seat. And you guys are running into an acute scene that says something's wrong. And you got your backpack and your cool shoes. And where do I go? Right. Well, the
Right.
dispatcher's lost. Now put your dispatcher hat on.
Yeah.
I gave you the address.
Right.
Yeah, but it's the big building with the lights on. Yeah, well, I gave you the address.
Yeah.
That's where the victim is. Go find him. If you had mapping,
Mhm.
and it reduced into a location service technology on
Mhm.
your cell phone and say, hey, they're calling on the 10th floor, room 602. What is that? Take the first elevator bank on the right. It looks like this. I send it to your phone, and you pop open your phone, you hit the link, and there's a picture of the elevator bank. You don't need to listen to the description. You're looking at it and you're there going,
Exactly.
oh, I'm here.
I'm
You
here.
go upstairs and know what it looks like. So these are the things we need to add. This is not like the good idea fairy landing on my shoulder saying, hey, if only
Yeah.
this is what you have to have, not should have to have. And these things alone, let's, if we want to come back, we'll come back and I'll tell you about a return on investment, how to make this thing sell itself. But for right now, that's a whole hour. But for this,
Yeah.
it's a lot to digest. I'd appreciate Active Shooter Prevention Project. So it's ASPP and then add another PRO.com. So 3 P's in there, ASPPPRO.com. Every resource there is free. And I'm telling you, everything on there is basically free, except unless you want to buy a service. I mean, then, that costs money. But
Right.
go ahead and put a price on if I told you had 10
Yeah.
years to live and
Yeah.
you take this and we'll add another 10 years, that's fear selling, fear of loss or desire for gain. Remember, we talked about that. So, I'll leave you with this one thing and your listeners with one thing. If you want to be an entrepreneur, that's awesome. If you want to stay alive, that's awesome. If you have a nefarious idea that you want to do something bad, know there's good people out there that will stop you. And, the bottom line is this. People say, yeah, Chris, well, what's my return on investment? I don't know. What's your return on regret if you don't do something? Number one. And number two, they print money, they don't print time. So if you invest a little bit in some, a Ring doorbell at home and put gun analytics in there, you might know if somebody's showing up with a firearm.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
I
Do
love
that
it.
in school.
Absolutely love it. And we'll end there. I will let you go, but just so you know, we love the mapping. We have that in our portfolio. We have a 360 camera mapper on our team that we can outsource to, and they create the digital dollhouse, have everything done, and even for people's insurance, it's nice because it catalogs all of your inventory as well. So when there's an insurance claim, you can go back to that digital dollhouse and say, yeah, here's what we had, here's what the units were, here's a picture of it. So we did a whole episode already talking about the digital mapping. Maybe we'll have to get that back and get that in front of individuals based on your recommendation. Great call out, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
You guys are awesome. Hey, okay, I ain't letting you go.
Okay.
Forget you. I told you too that you got the bonus practice today.
Love it.
I'm not leaving until Wesley tells you the story, Jason, of what he told me about him's name. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I do this thing and it's funny. I love it. Some
He's
people
laughing
hate
at his
it.
own joke. Let's just call that out there right now.
And I can, I every single time because I can run it as much as I like. And I try to change the, I didn't say what I was supposed to say.
What's
So I'll just,
what's my name? Tell them how you led with it though.
yeah.
Grollnek,
So,
right?
yeah.
Go ahead.
So listen, it's nice to meet you. I just got to let you know I have a really long last name. Many times I end up having to spell it for folks. And like, you look at your last name, you're like, oh man, I'm Grollnek. I always got to spell that for people. So what is it? I'm like, well, it's long. It's like, No, no, I know. What is it? No, no. Well, yeah, it's long. And then I can keep that going. You take you gauge the temperature in the room to see how long they can go with this, and then I'm like, all right, well, let me just spell it for you. It's LONG.
This
And then
dude got me. Look,
pause
listen,
right there.
this
I love
dude
it.
got me so good. I'm telling you right now, money in the bank right there. He'll tell you, I not only laughed, but I told him a personal story about my life in 8th grade and 14 years old. So,
Yep.
man, listen,
It's
you
a
guys
great
are awesome.
icebreaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a great icebreaker, and it puts people at ease. It lets them. It's good. It works. Yeah, I appreciate you for being such a good sport, man.
Y'all be good. I encourage you to get Glenn on your webcast, on your podcast, man. He'll entertain you. Not as funny as I am. Let's make that damn sure. All right, my brothers. I appreciate
Chris,
you very much.
Thank you so much,
Chris.
man.
All right,
we'll be in touch.
Stay safe.
Right.
Later.
Yeah, you know what, Jason? This has been a powerful set of conversations that we've had. It may be one of the most impactful conversations, perhaps the most important one that we've had yet here in Disaster Class Podcast. So again, we want to thank Chris Grollnek for giving us his time and sharing his experiences with us. I know that I've grown in this discussion, and hopefully there'll be some benefit to our viewers and our listeners as well.
Absolutely. And, kind of the sentiments that in the conversation too is preparedness. It's not about paranoia. It's not about fear.
Right.
It's about empowerment, giving yourself that confidence to be able to tackle whatever comes your way. And that was really a clear in Chris's conversation. So hopefully you found this episode helpful, enlightening, and we really thank you for supporting this podcast. So please make sure you like, subscribe, follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, share this with someone. And then if you want to reach out to us, whether it's a question or you want us to cover a particular topic, send us an email at disasterclass@instinctready.com or drop us a message on our social media accounts at DisasterClass Podcast. So thank you all for tuning in to this episode. Stay educated.
Stay prepared.
Stay equipped.
All right, guys, time to go.